sky's not blue.
You need to understand that when the time comes, I'm going to be taking over.
Welcome back to the Cult House Podcast. I'm your host, the Scholar of Spite and the Saturday Night Delight, Roger Riddell. Joining me today, he's a former Kastasyde who dared to ask the question, what, learned night magic, became a Hatemonger, and joined the Yakuza in an act of contrition. He is a vocalist, guitarist, and bassist, Jerome Marshall. How you doing today, Jerome?
I'm doing all right, man. How are you?
Pretty good. I think I managed to get every band that you've been in or are currently in that intro.
Yeah, there's also WHUT.
Yeah. Well, that was dared to ask the question, what?
Oh, dare they ask that? There you go. You gotta say it like what? like step. But yeah, man. What would you like to talk about this podcast?
Yeah, there's any number of things, I think. I guess the most recent thing that I've seen was maybe yesterday, the press release for the Contrition album.
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd that band come about?
That came about with Jeff Wilson and John Necromancer and Gary Naples. We were all just hanging out at Twisted Smoke, taking some shots, and Jeff was like, I got some leftover Wolfhammer and Doomsday riffs, and I don't have a vocalist. And I was like, oh, I could do that. He was like, really? I was like, yeah, man, just tell me, what you want it to be all about. And he was like, well, you're writing the lyrics, so you're the one that's gonna, pretty much run that ship. And I was like, oh, all right. So I did. I gave me all the demo tracks. I sat around and came up with some pretty vicious vocals, and that's pretty much that. Yeah, I mean, like Jeff is pretty much the spearhead of it all. He produced it, recorded it. It was all like his musical plan. That guy's in like 4 other projects too. Chrome Waves. He was in Nachtmystium, and he was in Wolfhammer and Doomsday. I mean, it goes on and on and on. It just seems like one project after another. It's like if you get an opportunity to do something, then get on it, make it happen. Yeah, that's pretty how Contrition came about. And then I went down to Indianapolis with Gary, recorded the drums, and I did the vocals. And yeah, got a lot of good response. Trevor from the Black Dahlia Murder heard a song and was like, wanted to do some backups on it, so that was cool. Leon from Murder Construct and Exhumed, or not Exhumed, well, yeah, it used to be an Exhumed, and Impaled, and Nails. Like, we're all in a million bands, it seems. But yeah, he contributed a solo onto it, so yeah, man, we got some heavy hitters in there right now, and yeah, it all just came together like really well. So yeah, that's how Contrition's worked out, which is weird for me because I've never been a lead vocalist, but now I guess I wear those pants too.
Yeah, I mean, 3 of y'all are previously from former incarnations of Nachtmystium too.
Yeah. I mean, Gary played drums in Nachtmystium for a brief
time. Everyone we see.
In Nachtmystium, Jeff and John, and yeah, don't necessarily want to get too much into that legacy there, but for their time and place, I think that Jeff and John were probably in the best incarnation of Nachtmystium when they were really heading the good after the release of Assassins. And I toured with Nachtmystium as a roadie during that Cradle of Filth tour in 2011, which was like 35 dates, which, as you could imagine, was kind of just say it was interesting.
Yeah, you froze up at a couple of spots,
so,
but
yeah,
I think it didn't cut anything off too bad.
What was that? Hello?
Oh, it
Can you hear
froze
me?
up a few times. Yeah, it's kind of like freezing off and on.
All right. Hello.
All right. Yeah, it froze up a couple times, but I can edit around that.
You got me now?
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually at the Chicago stop of that tour, and the one thing that I remember from that, aside from it being a pretty good show overall, was that like the back screen at the House of Blues didn't work for some reason. So it was like Cradle of Filth performing to just like this lit up blank screen.
Yeah, it was. It kind of had like a little bit of a technical difficulty there, but
Yeah.
like it's kind of how that goes. Can't enjoy all the greatest things or any of the technical difficulties. But yeah, I haven't really seen those guys in a while. I still
Yeah.
keep in touch with some of the guys from the tour, but 3 times. I think the only person that he still has in that band is maybe his keyboardist and the drummer. Their drummer is awesome. Guy's a beast, a machine, a beast machine.
Yeah, I mean they've kind of had a string of just like really great drummers. I know at one point like Nick Barker was in that band, and there's been like a few other guys who were just fucking animals.
Yeah, like I think he had one of the guys that played in I don't know.
It was like the
sorts of
brother
really
of like
good
one of the
drummers,
dudes from Arch
besides-
Enemy, I think.
Arch Enemy, that's what it is. Yeah.
It was like Adrian Erlinson, I think was his name.
Yeah, well, like the guy that's the brother of the guy. Yeah, at the gates. Yeah, like Daniel and Adrian, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's still freezing up just a little bit.
Sorry for the technical difficulties here.
Yeah, that's okay.
And
Yeah, I know the other thing that you're working on right now, music-wise, is the new Yakuza album. And I think the last time that I saw you was when I was working merch for Bruce at that Yob show a few years ago. I think that was maybe like right before you joined the band. Yeah.
Yeah. I joined up with Yakuza in 2018. And initially when I did, I didn't let anybody know. You know, it's just like practicing with them and making sure that I actually got the job or whatever. And then I went to Psycho Las Vegas. You know, I did like a little tour with a Seath and them. And then once I got to Vegas, I ran into all my Chicago people, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, 5 o'clock, the joint stage, you know, at the Hard Rock. They're like, "What are you doing? Like roadie and guitar tech and something like that?" And then everybody found out that I was playing bass for Yakuza, and they're like, "Whoa, I know that dude." So that was pretty cool. It was totally like a surprise for a lot of people. A lot of people didn't know. And then after we did that little stint and went out there and let everybody know. And then I played Scorched Tundra with what is that band? Aaron Turner's band. You know, guy from ISIS. Not the Islamic terrorist organization, but the band that was out before that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember the band.
Or the
like,
Egyptian
exact name.
goddess, whatever. Sumac. Have you heard those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're heavy as fuck. And yeah, that show we played at the Empty Bottle on like September 1st, 2018. It's pretty like, you know, years. And then start playing out shows with them immediately at Psycho Las Vegas and sold out Empty Bottle shows. But pretty much right after that, we started writing the new album. And recently we're almost finished recording it. I believe on September 15th. That is whatever percussion and whatever final touches. And then yeah, I don't know exactly when it's going to be released, but at least I can tell you that it'll be done recorded. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing. I think everybody's gonna like the new album. Kind of is like more of a return to form, you know? It sounds a lot more like Transmutations or Way of the Dead or Samsara.
Yeah. I know like every one of the Yakuza albums kind of has a little bit of a different vibe to it. Yeah, I think it froze again.
All right, can you hear me again?
Yeah.
You got me?
I think so,
Cool.
for the moment.
Yeah, well, for the moment.
Yeah.
Usually, I've never had this issue with Zoom.
No, I've
It's
never
kinda
had
odd.
this issue with it before either. Like I've had this happen with Skype
Because like
before, but not with
I'm on a
Zoom.
Wi-Fi connection. Maybe. Yeah, Zoom's usually always really clear. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it right now either. It's
All right.
yeah, I think the last thing before it started freezing again.
Maybe there's a corona like mass injection of fucking plasma coming from the sun or something like that, fucking up all the satellites.
Yeah. Yeah, I think about that
Yeah,
every
have a lot
now and
more-
then. Like there's that shit, and then there's just all the shit that's floating in the atmosphere that can hit any of that. And there's the car that Elon Musk put up there for whatever reason.
Yeah, that could be blocking something or crashing in a satellite. If you have enough money, you can do whatever and not really think of the consequences.
Yeah.
And then screw us out of our satellite. But he'll pay for it because he can afford it, so that's cool. But yeah, the Yakuza's been pretty exciting. Like we just got done with the guitars, and it just sounds awesome. Like I'm really excited for everybody to hear it. And it's been like, I don't know how many years since the last Yakuza album, like 8, 9 years, 10 years. In regards to like most of the songwriting, it was mainly just me, Matt, and Jim kind of like getting everything together. And then once Bruce came into the picture, he was going over everything with lyrics, and it's much more of a creative process, like kind of like adding the meat on. It's like we had the whole skeletal structure, but once he got in, it's like you're adding on the muscles, you're adding on the, adding the, everything that makes an album. I mean, like just with the sax and the different vocal approaches and the effects that he uses. A lot of it we weren't really all too sure what he was going to do until he actually just did it, and that's exciting because it it just adds another layer on to what we were working on and composing. And then while we were writing it, and he was trying to get together lyrics, be like, all right, play this again, or do this again, or do this way, or it was creative, but not by any means. It wasn't like, overly challenging. I wouldn't say it's easy, but it was, it's very, I mean, it's awesome just to be working with professional musicians that have been doing this for the last 20 years. Cause I remember the first time I saw Yakuza was at the Holiday of Horror in 2001. That was when it was at the Metro. So it was with like Macabre and Jungle Rat, Yakuza. I think there might have been another band. And they just blew me away. Like, cause I used to play saxophone. So Bruce is definitely like a inspiration in that mode. I mean, I'd stop playing sax, but just to see him do it, kind of inspired me to be like, yeah, maybe I should pick that back up again. I know it's been like, for me, probably 2 decades, but whatever. He does it way better than I did.
Yeah. I've seen him do an improv set with the Dillinger Escape Plan before.
I've just been a fan for it. Wow. That adds with the nuts.
Yeah.
But he seems to always pop. I was just in Vegas with him, and he got up for Cephalic Carnage, You know, he did a little guest spot in there. He also did his solo act, which was cool. And he is also, you know, the guy's like he's everything, man. It's never a dull moment in the run. So I'm glad I'm in like the one band that I am definitely the biggest fan of. Not Bloodiest. I love that band. I pretty much love every project that he's been affiliated with. So it's an honor for me, you know, for a long time. He was like, you know, for somebody being like a role model. Every time I'd like run into him, he'd be like, you still just in that one band? And he's like, yeah, man, you should definitely play in more bands. So now I find myself in the same position and playing in a band with him. Not only just any band, but probably my favorite of his bands, which is now my band. So kind of surreal, you know. It's definitely a surreal, real feeling, you know. But you start playing with all your heroes and whatnot. So it's been an awesome journey, and it's only gonna get more, you know. It's only gonna more things are happening. We got shows coming up. Hopefully, you know, with the whole pandemic thing, it looks like, you know, we pulled the Band-Aid off real fast, but the wound necessarily wasn't healed. So, I mean, I can only hope that we'll still be playing all these shows and taking all the right precautions and whatnot. But yeah, that's been exciting.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like Bruce is also like one of the nicest dudes that I've ever met too. Like he's like a super generous person.
Yeah, for sure. He's very generous and very into what he does, which is awesome, you know. It's the passion. It's all about that passion, you know. If you don't have the passion to do it, there's like no point in really even doing it, you know.
Yeah, and you mentioned Psycho Las Vegas, and I know you were at the one that just happened recently. What was that like? Now that you know they're doing festivals of that size, trying to come back out of the pandemic.
That was awesome. It was a great time, you know. Got to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in 2 years, and you know, it pretty much went off without a hitch. Everybody's wearing the mask. Everyone's trying to be as responsible as possible, so that we don't continue to spread whatever variant is coming up next. I know some people probably got it out there, but from what I can tell, they're all still alive, so not in the hospital. But it was refreshing, you know, to finally get back to a festival that size and to, you know, just be able to hear live music at that extent, you know, again, all in one huge setting. I mean, unfortunately, none of the European bands can come because they now have a ban for us here. We're deemed too dangerous because of our variant, but, you know, they ended up getting all the rad bands from the US. So all of my homies, at least, you know, got to see Goat Horde, High on Fire, Down, and, you know, Weed Eater, Dying Fetus, Cannibal Corpse, Pig Destroyer, who are all like personally really close friends of mine. So it was just like one big party, you know.
Yeah, it's rad seeing that Down's back together now too.
You know, yeah, Down with Kirk. I mean, I hadn't seen him with Kirk in 8 years, so that was awesome. You know, they sounded like it was returned back to form. You know, I did see a few streaming performances that Down had, but nothing beats the real thing. You know.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten to see them with Kirk.
Wow. Yeah, man. I mean, I've been a fan of that band since they came out. I remember like hearing, you know, tapes getting traded around. We were like, what is this band? You know, like sounds like the singer from Pantera, but it's not Pantera. It's like way more bluesy and has more of a Zeppelin vibe to it. It was man, it was really awesome. Really awesome to catch that all. And I got to hang out with Pepper and shoot the shit with all those dudes. It's like rad how many of those like New Orleans kind of took over that festival. You know, Exhorter played. You know, you got Down playing Noah in its entirety. And it was rad for me. You know, it's some of my favorite stuff. New Orleans scene has had like a huge impact and influence on me. You know, all the sludge and, you know, bands like Soylent Green. I Hate God was there too. I love those guys. Yeah, it was it's really good. It was refreshing, you know, after being confined to quarantine and not knowing necessarily what's going on, you know, in the midst of a first pandemic that we've had of this nature in like a century, you know?
Yeah.
So it's good to see that we're possibly returning back to form here, you know?
I was gonna say, I Hate God is like another one of those bands that I've never gotten to see in full form. Because when I saw them at the Guarbecue, it was the first time that I've gotten a chance to see them. This was like 2016, 2017, I think 2016. Mike was having his liver issues, and Phil was filling in for him.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen them with Phil singing.
Oh man, that's cool. That's I've never seen that. So I saw them with Randy from Lamb of God, and they did 2 nights at Reggie's, and they actually had to use like I Hate God had to use one of my cabinets. So I was just like, yeah, man, whatever you guys need. Threw it in the car and brought it over for them, you know. So that was cool. I got a chance to hang out with Randy, and you know, it's always good to see Jimmy and Aaron and Gary. And you know, I was just hanging out with Mike in Vegas, and you know, even after the whole liver transplant and some of the health complications he's had, he's doing much better. Looks good. They keep on trucking here, you know.
Yeah,
which is it's reassuring, you know.
And like what you were saying about the whole like sludge scene down in New Orleans, the thing that I've always loved about that is that it's got like, there's like a groove to it that sludge metal from other places doesn't have.
Yeah, I think that's just about the city, you know.
Yeah,
it's just, there's always music going on. There's always a band playing. There's always some musician playing. There's always, you know, a vibe that's just it's never ending. It's always grooving. That's why I love going down there and being a part of it, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of that, I think, inspires us here in the Chicago scene, because it's like right up the Delta, however you want to.
Yeah, no, like Chicago's got that heavy blues background, but then like there's also always kind of been this experimental side to the music scene in that city, going from like, you go all the way back to like Master kind of innovating you know, early death metal up through like that 90s alternative scene, just between like from Smashing Pumpkins to the industrial scene. And then, you know, during that whole period where Nachtmystium and bands like that were around, there was a little bit of like a psychedelic kind of thing going on too. It's just all these like really cool things that meld together in the music scene up there.
Well, yeah. You know, you were wearing an Atlas Moth shirt yesterday. That's another band that kind of experimentally goes into a psychedelic, you know, wave that's you know, it's different, but you can tell that there's influences from all over, you know, especially New Orleans.
Yeah,
which those guys have toured with I Hate God. We're all connected in some way, you know. Everybody in our scene, and I know Paul Speckman pretty well, but he's out in I don't know, Czech Republic or Siberia or somewhere in
Eastern Czech
Europe.
Republic, man.
Yeah, I love the Czech Republic. I guess I can talk to you about that real fast. Europe, and when I did that tour, the Mental Possession tour, which I'm wearing a shirt of right now. It's an Arazi Pazuzu shirt from that tour. Yeah, those guys were great. Europe's great. It was like my first time touring Europe, and I also played like Roadburn Festival and SRW Festival in Portugal. And yeah, I mean, it was experience of a lifetime. It's definitely something I was looking forward to doing forever. Unfortunately, it wasn't in any of my bands, but it was in a band that I'm a huge fan of and had the opportunity to fill in on bass with. Or I guess now I'm just considered the live bassist for that group. If you look me up on Encyclopedia, that's what they say, you know, because Cobalt's pretty much all Eric Wonder, and you know, the latest incarnation of it was like Eric and Charlie.
The one other thing that I want to talk to you about too was because I think where I originally kind of knew of you from was from going to the Exit, you know, over the years. And that place recently closed, kind of infamously.
Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I think you froze up for a little bit.
Oh no, you're freezing up again. All right. What were you saying about Exit though?
Yeah, so I was saying that, you know, the place that I kind of originally know you from is the Exit, just from going there over the years, because you were kind of like a mainstay behind the bar there for a long time, and that place recently infamously closed due to, you know, whatever that laundry list of violations were from the city. But supposedly they're not closed, and they're like gonna reopen or something.
I guess all those violations caught up. You know, apparently it's going to reopen. I don't know. I haven't heard much about it. I mean, I can only hope that, you know, that place will come back, because it was definitely it was a gathering point for a lot of bands. You know, you bring a lot of bands there after their gigs. The place is kind of like my living room, you know, because I can't bring bands to my house anymore. Come in and crash for the night. You know, it was a nice place for people like to just come through and, you know, meet their bands. I mean, I know a lot of people met all sorts of bands there. Carcass hung out there, Mayhem hung out there, WHUT hung out there. You know, all sorts of bands like Machine Head was there DJing. I Hate God was there DJing once. And like Mike was getting into it with the owner there, and that was kind of entertaining because he was gonna beat his ass. I was like, don't beat Mike's ass. He's just fucked up right now, you know.
You know, it's one of those places where you could always kind of guarantee that that you were gonna be unintentionally entertained if you went there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there'd be a lot of times where something would break out there and you'd see somebody, you know, get their ass beat. It's like everybody like pause for a minute and be like, whoa, what's going on with that? Oh, it's taken care of, back to drinking, you know. It's a lot of debauchery at that place.
Yeah.
A lot of debauchery, a lot of weirdos, you know, all the shit that's up our alley.
You know, the first night that I ever went there, way back in 2011, was after a Yakuza Atlas Moth show at Sub T, and I was hanging out with Stavros, and Alex and Jeff, and the one thing that sticks out to me from that night is that right around last call, Alex was just kind of like had his head down on the bar, and like I'm sitting on the bar stool on one side of him, and then like this weird old dude kind of saddles up next to him and is like rubbing his thigh, and I'm like elbowing Alex like, yo dude, you need to wake up because there's like a dude on the other side of you like rubbing your leg.
Oh shit. It must have been on like a bondage night, huh? Like you're passing out at the bar and there's some weirdo there rubbing your thigh. Yeah, you know, shit like that would happen.
Yeah. I mean, I can only imagine.
It's like one of the few places people would just get on the bar and start like I've seen mosh pits happening there. I think I jumped off the bar there once. I got caught by my buddy Jake that works at Reggie's, who's like a brick house. You know, we like playing Suicidal Tendencies in there, and like a mosh pit just breaks out, and the owner comes up the stairs and I'm like, it's all good, it's all good. It's not, I know it looks like a brawl on camera, but we're just, you know, we're just having fun.
It was a great bar, like for all of its flaws. It had like a certain charm to it, but I can only imagine like the kind of, you know, weird sort of.
It's always had some charm.
Yeah,
it definitely charm to it. But yeah, we'll see if it comes back, man. I mean, obviously I want it to, but not necessarily all too sure what's going on with that.
yeah. I mean, I assume it'll probably come back as some sort of weird like bar rescue, you know, shell of its former self with some name like Entrance, but like the E and N are lowercase and the trance is uppercase, and it's just like a trance club from then on.
You know, that probably could happen. Who knows, man? We can only just sit here and hope and wait, because that was definitely the bar, the 4 a.m. bar, you know, that we would take everybody to, you know. It's like, hey, when's your bus call? Cool. Like, let's wrap it up. Head over to Exit. You got, you know, you got your, like, Exhumed was also, like, we go there all the time after any Zoom show. It's like, oh yeah, let's go to Exit, you know. And Dylan, who was like their driver, roadie, merch guy, the dude with the chainsaw, he's awesome, dude. Every time these guys want to go out and party, you know, he'll pull up there, take a nap, and wait for all of us, you know. And then when it's time to go, everybody else is trashed. He's all ready to go, already on the road to the next city. So it's because of people like Dylan that bands are able to have the best time possible at a place as debaucherous and insane as Exit. Take care of your roadies, you know.
Yeah, I've had you for about an hour now, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but thanks again for taking the time to do this.
Hell yeah, bro. And just real fast, we didn't really get a chance to talk about Hatemonger, but
oh yeah,
it's definitely like the project. I just wanted to mention real fast that yeah, we're out here, we're doing shows and opening up and writing music, and it's super brutal, you know. It's like death grind. It's kind of like what me and Gary have always wanted to pursue, you know. And I think so far we're doing a pretty good job at it. Came out, we're getting some really good reviews, and it's brutal as all hell. And yeah, man, it's I'm looking forward to more of the music that we're going to be writing. Like, we got some new material that we're gonna get working to on, and as soon as we do these shows that we got, we're playing with like Jungle Rot tomorrow. And next week we're playing with Devourment and Ringworm. But yeah, after those shows, we're gonna go back into full writing mode, and I think we have like another show at the end of October, and then yeah, really trying to focus on just new material. But so far so good. Everybody likes the EP.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to
yeah,
hear
man,
it yet, but it's on my list.
Yeah, man, check it out. And when you want to do another interview with me, man, we'll talk a little bit more about it. Maybe get more into depth about what the lyrical content is, you know.
Yeah, I'll check it out, and I'll hit you up again for this you know, sometime in the next few months. Hopefully we won't have the same technical difficulties.
Yeah, I hope like the next time I'll make sure that that it's all clean for you.
Yeah, no,
right.
Have a good day, man.
You as well, bro. Thanks a lot for the interview, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Rock on, brother.
Run you,